Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is a 212A. It's the Tier 9 Soviet SPG. It's on the south spawn of Mines, and it's under the command of Angelina75 of OLIMP, and she's got the improved rammer, vents, and gun laying drive. Game on. There you can see alongside Angelina is an M53, M55, two Arty on either team. Angelina appears to be backing into the corner, but that actually might work in her favour because her teammate at the moment is just staying behind the building, and Angelina wants to get to the bushes and use the rock for cover. Okay, well, she's looking up the other end of the map because suddenly an enemy Arty has been spotted very early on. Rounds out. Well, she managed to get 40 hit points straight away from the GW Tiger, and she's backing into the bushes again. Now, Angelina does know to immediately relocate if she hears the enemy Arty firing in her direction. Now, Angelina has already submitted a replay for this week's contest, and I was about to release the video a short while later today. In fact, it was going to be released at noon, which is now currently in 5.5 or 5.25 hours time. And Angelina's just picked up some stun assist from stunning that Heshbon. She managed to pick up 518, is it 589? 509 hit points of stun assist. And so that's got her communications expert working, and that's 2.5% extra on the crew skills. She's found a target. It's an E4, but she changed her mind because there's an even better target over here. This Kunstpanzer is sitting in the open, behind a bush, not moving. Now he's hurt. That was a big hit for 391. And Angelina's relocating already. It looks like our team managed to get the hill very, very quickly indeed in this game. And as a consequence, the enemy is now playing catch up. There's only one tank down, but capturing that hill is so important. And okay, we've got a Latstrip 120, which is a Swedish flat pack tank destroyer. Stroke. And that's a kill. She got him. Lovely kill there. Okay. Just waiting for the reload to go in. Angelina, the standard reload for this Arty is 37.39 seconds. Angelina has 29.39. Almost loaded. She's got an 8-second difference off the original reload time. 900 Alpha, 52mm of pen from a 203mm B4 howitzer. Oh, now that didn't work out well because the tank got too close before she could aim. She's fired a round into the bush, more speculative than anything. Of course, firing shells at the enemy Arty does kind of encourage them to shoot back at you. That's our teammate firing. And now the enemy does have another tank over in that corner, the southwest corner. It's a Wizzy 120. And it rounds out. Looks like a shell exploded near the wreck of the Latstrip 120. Okay, she's not the tree down, but she's backing away from it, so she's trying to make the enemy Arty think that she's over there. And in fact, the guy did fire at her, but not close enough to actually do any damage. She just got some stun. So that was selling the enemy a dummy. She was actually trying to fool him into thinking where she was, and she's not there. Rounds out. So close. Okay, so she's changing position again. She doesn't want to knock down that box because that would also give the enemy a clue. You can see she's very close to the aim point for the previous shot. And there's that Wizzy 120 again. And he's parking himself behind the wreck, using it for cover, but that might actually work against him. Bounce up. Yes, because that was a direct hit for 245, and she's hugging the rock again. This is good tactics. Now, the enemy is actually in the castle grounds. They've managed to kick our guys out, and we're now one tank down on the enemy. We've also lost sight of that Wizzy 120, but Angelina fires in anyway. Almost ready to shoot. First target is an object 452K. Loaded. But she changed her mind over the target. Oh, she just saw the tracer from the enemy Arty. And unfortunately, that tower is very much in the way. And that FP4005 is hugging the rock just like she was a short while ago to ensure that she couldn't get a shell right on top of the guy. Well, he's not the only tank up at the center. There are a couple of other enemy tanks, and now even the M53, M55 is recognizing that he needs to change his angle. Angelina is now changing position again. That's better. Okay, she's got a shot. She's not fully dialed in. That was the M53, M55 firing in, and rounds out. Direct hit for Angelina. 337. Unfortunately, the M53 did not benefit from that shot because the enemy used their first aid kit to get rid of the stun. Or that, either that or he used the wrong shell, the shell with HE but no stun. Okay, she's ready to go. Loaded. Okay, somebody up there got hit, and I think that he is hitting with non-stun HE. He's doing damage, but he's just not getting a large amount of it. Go for it there. Yep, that worked. 399 is another heavy hit, and if our teammate fires his HE at that guy now, we might benefit. Oh, unfortunately, we just lost our T30. There's 780 there. It's very difficult now. Top of the hill has now been claimed again by our team, but their GW Tiger just took out our E50. Firing at the FP4005. The fewer targets the enemy has got to fire at, the more likely they're going to fire at the Arty. At the moment, we've really got no targets to fire at inside the castle grounds, and the only other tank protecting us is the Striv 103B and the M53, M55. We're looking for the tracer coming from the enemy Arty, and suddenly we see that there is a tank, and he just drove into the castle, and it's the Object 780, and he got wiped out by the Striv. So that's good news, because it means we're one better on our previous position. But oh dear, look at that. We've lost our Arty, our M53, M55. He went over to the west side of the map, and he's just been taken out by the Heshbon. So that didn't work. And in fact, now it's much more likely that they're going to try and fire at Angelina, because she's one of 3 left on our team. they've still got 2 Arties, so I think they will start focusing fire in this direction. The Striv is covering the other angle from those guys coming in from the west. He's also got to cover the north. I can't see either the Object 452K or the Kunstpanzer wanting to come into the castle grounds, because they will both be wiped out with one shot from that Striv 103B. And if the Heshbon tried to come in, well, yes, he might get some damage, but Angelina might do some damage to him and could possibly even take him out. After all, he does have very thin armor on the turret. At this stage in the game, I also couldn't see the GW Tiger on the enemy team going in. Oh, it's just the Kunstpanzer is the brave one. He is trying to come into the castle grounds, but changed his mind. Now, if he was to go in with the Object 452K at the same time, that will be a problem. Looks like the Kunstpanzer managed to get his man pants on to make the move, but it just didn't work because the Striv was covering the entrance. Got 3 minutes 20 seconds left on the game. And the Kunstpanzer decided to go down the other route, and the other Striv got him instead. So that didn't work out too well. And there's the M53, M55 on the enemy Arty. He's on the east side of the map. Again, he got spotted by our Striv. I think the Striv right down in the south might be the one that spotted him, rather than the other. No sign of the Heshbon yet, trying to make a move on the cap. Okay, now the problem is that our cap area has been abandoned, and Angelina is now all on her own. Nobody to spot for her. Her view range is not going to be that strong. It's only 270 meters. And there's the 2-minute warning. Now, the enemy Heshbon, the FV4005, may not try to attack the cap because he may think that the Striv is still there, unless they see the other Striv right up in the north. The rest of the team saying GG to both Striv and Arty. I think they're recognizing Angelina's effort so far. And the M53 on the enemy team has decided to go into the castle grounds. In fact, they decided to go in together. Angelina trying to hit the Object 452K. She gets him! And now that leaves her alone, and she's been spotted by the Heshbon. So she's going to get taken out. Well, he fails, but the Arty tries to get him. Now, the Arty has been defanged by that because he's got no hit points. We lost the Striv 103B inside the castle grounds, but our other one is now going in to kill the M53, and he will get him because he's fine. He's still reloading. And even though the enemy GW Tiger is still firing in, we're into the last 30 seconds. Angelina's going for a shotgun. And that guy in the FV4005 doesn't realize. Oh, now ram him. Just go for the ram. He's capping. And he is reloading. But she's going to give damage to him whilst he's in the cap. He's running away. Players don't like it when Arty chases them. And she rams him. She dies in the process. But they get a draw. Here's the end of battle stats, and despite the fact that Angelina did tremendously well in that game, and it was a very courageous end to the game, that was only a third-class tanker for angelina75 of OLIMP in the 212A. She did manage to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, and she actually got 14 in that game, and her win rate was 4,652, but sadly, yes, she wasn't able to get a win simply because the enemy was just too strong at the end. She did manage to get that FV4005 out of the cap area. And in fact, actually, I think she did get some hit points off him right at the end. 469. There was one point where he was actually pointing his gun at the hill. And it might have been better for Angelina just to drive straight up to him and hit him at point blank range. I think the shell would have gone straight through the turret, and that would have been the end of him straight away with that one shot. But as it is, well, she did die when she rammed him, but there was no problem because we weren't going to lose at that point simply because we still had our teammate in the Striv up in the castle grounds. So let's have a look at the team score. Well, look at that. The highest damage in the game was the Object 452K, who Angelina managed to kill, and he got a high caliber for 5,261 hit points. Second highest damage in the game actually went to the Angelina with 3,554. And third highest damage in the game went to the Heshbarn on the enemy team, who was still alive and actually got a Pascucci's medal because he did kill both of our SPGs, the M53, M55, and of course Angelina, although Angelina rammed him in return, and he managed to get 3,433 hit points of damage. So that means when it comes to kills, we can see top scorers are in fact the Object 780 on the enemy team, got 4 kills. 3 kills went to the Object 452K and the Striv 103B, the one that died. And 2 kills went to Angelina, to the other Striv who survived the battle, and the Gorilla 15. And on the enemy team, their GW Tiger managed 2 kills, and he was still alive at the end, and he got the Confederate. When it came to base XP, we can see that actually the top scorer was the Object 452K on the enemy team. 6,655 actually. Sorry, I'm looking at over my glasses. 655 went to the 452K, and then in second place we've got Angelina with 643, not far off. And after that, it was the Object 780 with 596. So well done, Angelina. She put the effort in, but just didn't get a high mastery, mainly because, of course, the game ended in a draw. Let's have a look at detail. Angelina fired 14 rounds. She got 6 direct hits, 1 penetration, and 12 splash. Damage of 3,554 hit points, of which 3,085 were at more than 300 meters. She did receive 1 hit and 1 hit by way of splash damage as well. 4 hits by way of splash damage from the enemy Arty. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 2 were killed, and she got 1,648 hit points of stun assist off 11 stuns. On a premium count, Angelina managed to get a profit of 6,126 credits, and she got 964 XP as well out of the game. And of course, it went to the full 15 minutes, but she died right at the end, just before the sound of the horn, just 2 seconds before, would you believe it? Trying to get a few more extra hit points by ramming the FV4005 and potentially taking him out of the game. And that's brave indeed. And in fact, actually, it just adds to the game because she knew that she wouldn't lose the game if she did die. But it really does. It really annoys enemy tanks. It makes them very afraid when they see an Arty coming at them at the end of the game, trying to ram kill them. Yes, this is an Arty that's based on a heavy tank. So if it does try to ram, it could actually badly damage an FV4005, because remember, that's a medium tank. that's turned into a tank destroyer, whereas she's a heavy tank turned into an Arty. So that's the end of the first game. We've got a second one. That one comes in from Talon. So let's watch his battle and see how he gets on. Talon has chosen to use the M53, M55 with the improved rammer, improved vents, and improved gun laying drive. Game on. Again, this is one of those maps where you can play cat and mouse with the enemy Arty. So long as you keep moving, changing position every now and then, it's very difficult for them to get hits on you. Also, from this angle, he can actually get hits on the pass right at the bottleneck. Oh, look at that. Both enemy Artys revealed themselves straight off. They're over on the corner. We're going for the Oho. Direct hit. That's it. Just roll down, change position. So long as you don't roll into the exact same spot that your teammate might be in. We've got two M53, M55s in this game. Standard reload 40.27 seconds. Talon has got 32.09. 900 alpha, 52 millimeters of pin. Rouse out. Direct hit right on the front. Changing position again. And look at that. The enemy missed. Talon's too experienced to fall for that one. If the enemy Arty wants to waste their shells trying to do counter battery, then that's fine, because Talon will just keep putting those shells on the enemy tanks. And look at this, 3 TS5s in the same game. He's loaded, rounds out, another direct hit, changes positions. It looks like the enemy has abandoned the town and are actually just fighting the valley. This could work against them. Okay, he's loaded. Rounds out. Another direct hit. He's accumulating. Oh, no, he drove into that one, but that was because the enemy anticipated he was changing position immediately after he fired. Now, he did lose some hit points, 222. And it looks like his teammate in the other Arty has decided to abandon this area and move slightly further away. Okay, Talon's not going to do that for the moment, but he did knock a tree down, and he knows that he shouldn't stay in the same spot if he knocks a tree down, because remember, Angelina did the same, and the enemy Arty fired at the exact spot where he knocked it down. Okay, he's ready to go. Now, he was aiming for the valley, but he changed his mind, went for the Arty for a moment, but instead he's going back to the valley and pumps around into the Centurion and gets a nice amount, 405, and he's getting stun assist as well, so it's all working in his favour. He's got the communications expert working, so that's 2.5% extra on the skills, and he's backing up into his new shell. Look at the way that the enemy is firing at the positions on the ground. And Talon is actually, they're moving the aim point about a tank's distance each time, but Talon keeps dodging it, except for the one where they tried to put it in a different spot. Okay, so he fired that one in, and he got only 44 hit points off the Type 61, but he did get some assist. And he's getting much more. 752 stun assist off one shell. That makes it worthwhile. Okay, you can see that the enemy have backed off now. Those TS5 Rex is there to remind them. Going for the ISM, but changed his mind because there was an Arty fire coming out that corner, and he saw it, and it looks like the enemy might not be relocating. And if they are, well, they're going to feel the same sort of threat. Now, it may appear that there are craters on the ground there caused by the explosions, but they're actually superficial. They're just visual. They don't actually change the configuration of the map. Otherwise, you'd be digging holes every time you fired into the same spot. He fires in, and the Wizzy 1232A gets wiped out. He gets the stun assist. With 3 up on the enemy, they are trying to make an attack down the valley. And it looks like our team has now got the advantage over them. And there's the ISM. Now, it's not fully loaded yet. We've got the, what's that, ISU. He's going to go for the Progetto, which is a good choice. Oh, he gets a kill shot. Lovely. And he got a bruiser medal out of that one. So that's 5 critical hits. He's changing position again, making it difficult. Excellent choice going for the Progetto. It's the one with the 3-shot auto reloader, I should say. Thing is, they can pump out a lot of damage. And if he hasn't used the shells that he actually did have at that moment, then he will get the advantage. Rounds out. Okay, managed to get stunned. Yet again, changing position. And the enemy Leopard prototype's gone down. There's only 2 enemies remaining, the ISM and their M53, M55. And they're both in the same spot, so he fires around into that corner. He's bound to get one of them. Or at least he'll wound them. And it's the M53 that goes down. We'll fire in. And he does get a hit for 421. The XM fires, and then he's wiped out. And that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was an ace tanker game for talon1958 of OLIMP in the M53, M55. He also managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he managed to get 8 in that game. And he also got a Confederate medal for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. At least 6 tanks subsequently taken out by other teammates. His win rate was 3,191, which is just super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at his team score and see where he went. Well, we can see that the highest damage in that game actually went to a Shure Murat, who managed 3,245 hit points. Second highest was the Progetto on our team with 3,091, and that guy got a tank sniper. And the third highest damage, well, that went to the M3Y with 3,033. And then we've got Talon with 2,944 hit points in 4th place. And of course, he got the Confederate. When it came to the enemy team, the best they could do was the Leopard prototype, who got 2,613. When it came to kills, we can see top scorer was the BZ176, who managed 4 kills. Then we've got the Shure Murat with 2 kills, the Progetto 46, the Leopard prototype, and then Forest Spirit on our team. On the enemy team, their Leopard prototype and their ISM both managed 2 kills apiece. We can see Talon only got 1 kill, but it still helped him to get the Confederate. And if he got more kills, it would have possibly taken that Confederate away. But when it came to base XP, you can see he's in 2nd place because the BZ176 did 1,274 base experience points, whereas Talon managed to get 1,148. And in 3rd place, we've got the M3Y with 1,120. And our Progetto was 1,113. So we had 4 players who managed to make it over 1,000 base in this game. So it was a really good team, and they thrashed the enemy. Let's have a look at detail. 11 shots fired. He got 7 direct hits and no penetrations, but he did get 15 splash, which showed that the enemy were actually closer together than they should have been, because he was stunning more tanks than he was firing shells. So yes, he was getting quite a lot of stuns. 2,944 hit points of damage, of which 2,533 were at more than 300 meters, so he did get close to the enemy. He also got 1 hit by way of splash damage when he walked into a shell, which actually did splash him for 222. So yes, he did lose a fair amount of hit points for that, but it was pure luck by the enemy that they fired the shell in where they did. And I think it was just a chance shot that was too close to him. 9 enemy vehicles were damaged, 1 was killed, so there's the Confederate, and he got 3,679 hit points of stun assist, or 14 stuns. On a premium count, he actually made a profit of 99,940 credits from that one game, including 65,000 for getting a mission completion, and on top of that, he got 3,444 experience points. But most importantly, it actually won him the lion. Yes, because the rules of the contest are that if you manage to get an ace tanker, you win it outright there and then, and that's it. So no more contest. This was the replay I was expecting to come in sooner or later. I didn't know if it was going to be Talon or Angelina who would get the ace, but they seem to be working very, very competitively this weekend, and I think they were enjoying it. And certainly the last 2 replays that came in were showing that they were getting some good games, but this one was absolutely, truly excellent. Talon was laying the fire down, making it very difficult for the enemy to get through that pass. And even though the M53, M55 and Arty decided that he was handling enough the other one, and he bugged out and tried to go elsewhere for safety, Talon just kept up the pressure, and it was working, and it had the desired effect. It made it difficult for the enemy to move through that pass, and eventually they had to give in, and our guys went the other way down to their cap. So I hope you enjoyed those replays. They're really good games. Angelina's, her replay with the 212, very brave indeed to try and defend the cap on her own. I would suggest, the one suggestion is, when you see and he's pointing the gun in the opposite direction, when he's doing that, he's got very slow turret turn, that guy. Turret rotation on the FP405, very slow indeed. When you see that he's doing that and he's pointing the gun elsewhere, just drive all the way up to him, line the cannon up with his turret, and just blow him to hell, because you will absolutely penetrate that turret. And with a 900 Alpha, he will go down with 1 shot. And that would have been really nice. But Angelina took the shot early, and unfortunately, all it did was a bit of splash. But I thought it was a fantastic end to Angelina's game. She went after him. She really made him fearful, because you don't expect to get chased by an Arty. No, it takes courage to do that, and Angelina has buckets of it. So commiserations to Angelina for not getting the win, but what a game by Talon. He deserved the win for that one, and he got it. Hope you enjoyed both those replays. If you did, please give the video a like, and thank you for watching.